Here in segment 2 of installing your granite tile kitchen countertops, we'll take you all the way up to the installation procedure. After the tile base is in place, do some dry runs and laying out the tile to get the best looking top. Inside corners are critical because the grout lines have to align in 2 different directions. So start at the inside corners and work your way towards the countertop ends. Spacers aren't necessary because you can easily eyeball the 1/8" grout lines for both dry runs and actual installation. On the countertop section containing the sink, work from both ends toward the sink. That way you can custom cut 1 or more shorter tiles near the center of the sink where they won't be as noticeable. Another advantage to laying out the tile ahead of time is that you'll know if you have enough tiles. And you can mark the back of the tiles, you can write on masking tape, that need special cuts like narrowing the tiles at the countertop edges or in the middle of the sink. Also mark the tiles that need the 45-degree angle cuts and the outside corner tiles. Cut miters on all the countertop front and end tiles, then cut miters on opposite ends of half that quantity for the nosing. Cut the nosing tiles 2 inches wide, using the leftover sections for the backsplash. Now here are some major things to be aware of so your countertop project will be as smooth as polished tile. Before you pull your sink and trash your old counters, get all your materials together, including the tiles, which may have to be special ordered. Also, tape cardboard or paper over the cabinet fronts to protect them. If you're replacing the sink and or faucet, get those in your hands too. After the plywood is down, use the old sink or the template for the new one and lay it out exactly where it goes to make sure that it will fit inside the cabinet and the outside of the finished backsplash. If clearance is an issue, you can use thinner backsplash underlayment, or if it comes right down to it, you can even thin set the tile directly to the drywall, but you may have to cut thin tile strips for the back edge of wider counters. Also, make sure you have plenty of space for appliances. With a stove or refrigerator pulled out, it's easy to hang counters too far so appliances won't fit back into their homes between the new countertop edges. Most appliance openings between cabinets are sized exactly, so you'll have to keep finished edges flush with the cabinet end. You can saw those nosing pieces narrower than the others. Don't beat yourself up mitering nosings in areas that'll be hidden. Our mitered nosing technique is just one option for finishing the front edges of stone tile countertops. But the truth is that the pros use several different methods. The tile underlayment techniques we show you are similar for all 3 methods shown below. Here's a rundown of 3 of the most common edge treatments. Wood edging. If you're used to working with wood, this edge is by far the fastest and easiest of all methods. Before installing any tile, rip 1x3 wood that matches your cabinetry down to 2 inches wide. Then route the outside corner with any profile you wish. Leave off the DIN-shield nosing strip so you can glue and nail the nosing directly to the plywood. Sand and stain the wood, then cut it to fit and fasten it to the plywood with construction adhesive and 3-inch finishing nails driven into the plywood core. Use tiles and add another 1/16 inch to allow for the tile thin set to gauge how far the wood should project from the countertop surface so the wood and the finished tile top will be flush. Finish with 3 coats of polyurethane. Fill the grout line between the wood and the tile with matching caulk rather than grout, or a crack will eventually develop between the wood and the tile. Overlapping tile edges. As you can see, the front edge of the top tile overhangs the nosing tiles, so the exposed, unfinished edge needs to be polished. We cut a simple 45-degree chamfer with a mitering jig, but you can also leave it square too. This technique works best for marble or limestone tops because the material is soft enough to finish with an orbital sander and progressive grits of 100, 150, and 220 silicone carbide or aluminum oxide sandpaper. Begin by installing the countertop tiles first, overhanging the front edges using the same technique described above. Then polish the edges with a 4-inch grinder fitted with a marble polishing disc, and install the narrow front pieces as we show in the main story. Bullnosed edges. This is by far the trickiest method because it takes skill to freehand consistent edges with a right angle grinder. Check around to find a stone fabricator who uses special machinery to bullnose individual tiles for a cost about $12 per linear foot. Lay out the tile as shown in photo 12, then mark the tiles that require edging. The downside of this method is you won't be able to finish your counters for several days while you're waiting for the fabricator to finish. So it's a good idea to lay out the tile on the old countertop and take the tile in for grinding before the demolition starts. Now on to finishing touches. One downside of any tile countertop is the potential for grout to get stained by food or beverage. We recommend 2 coats of grout sealant applied about a week after the grouting. Also, an ordinary wall backdrop can drag down a beautiful countertop. While all the tools are at your fingertips, consider tiling adjoining walls. We used various sized tiles of tumbled and honed limestone, along with a metallic tile listel to finish off the wall above the backsplash. Coming up in segment 3, we're going to show you the how-to steps for installing your granite tile countertop.